Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna try this one more time. I've been trying to record this all day long, and my sweet baby would just not stay down. So I decided I'm just gonna carry her. Hopefully she will let me get through this time. So my name is Daniela. This is the first episode of UnCut. And the reason that I'm naming my channel UnCut is because I am not the best at editing. I'm just gonna say I actually don't know how to edit a video. I don't think I know how to do it well enough to be able to cut things out and add audio and stuff like that. The only thing I am gonna try to do is just record with my mic and then maybe merge the audio with the video. I don't even know if I'll be able to do that, to be honest. We're trying it out. My sweet husband bought me a GoPro, and he also bought me a mic at separate times, but they were both gifts. And he has bought me everything that I need to make my YouTube channel. And so because he's been supportive, I have no other choice but to actually sit down and do this, because I would feel terrible if he spent all this money on me because he's being so supportive and I don't even use it. I have tried multiple times. I love recording with my GoPro, don't get me wrong. I use it for everything nowadays. I use it just like to record our stuff, just like everything, like vacations that I've went on with family, things like that. I love it so much. But anyway, I'm not gonna ramble too much. That's the reason I'm calling my episode UnCut, because I'm gonna post unedited videos. Whatever I've got is what's going up, because now I'm a mom now, and recording this video alone has taken me literally days to try to do. And just getting makeup on, this is the first time that I've worn makeup in a while. The only time I have time to do my makeup is if the baby is fed and my husband is home to watch her. And since he's working, he's back to work right now, so I haven't been able to do that. So getting even dressed today, trying to get ready for the day has just been a hassle. And so obviously recording this has taken a lot of effort. So that's the reason my channel is named UnCut. Today I want to talk about my unplanned C-section. And this is one of the many videos that I think I would really like to make based with like the theme being like pregnancy and labor and stuff like that, because there's so many things that I have learned throughout this time since I've given labor that I just feel like I don't see or find on YouTube myself, and I think it'd be really cool to talk about. And hopefully this will also go onto podcast platforms, but I would need to check and learn how to do that as well. I guess this is not going to be necessarily like I just want to preface this right now, get this out of the way, but I really don't have a niche right now. That's also the reason that I didn't want to give my channel a very specific, a name, that was gonna kind of like tie me down to like a certain subject, because I don't love that. I don't know if I end up talking only about pregnancy and only about labor, then so be it. But if I don't, then great too. So anyway, my unplanned C-section. So I gave labor November 25th. It's been about a month and a couple of days now. In 2 days, it'll have been a month and a week. And I actually have my postpartum check tomorrow, my doctor's appointment. And I gave birth on November 25th to a girl. And I went in with the complete expectation and complete idea that I would be giving birth naturally and vaginally. Unfortunately, that was not the case. And just to provide a little bit of context, and the reason I say unfortunately is because that's really what I wanted. That's always what I've wanted. And I'll get a little bit into that in a bit, but I'll try to just give a little bit of context. So we went into the ER literally a couple of hours after we got home from Thanksgiving dinner. So that was on the 23rd. We got home, and around 2 in the morning I went to the bathroom, and basically my water had broken. And so we went to the ER around 2-3 on the 24th, and I gave birth on the 25th at 12:03. And obviously you guys don't care about that time, but I remember. Anyway, so I went in, my water had broken, and long story short, I wasn't dilated like nearly enough to give birth vaginally. I had been in labor already for almost 2 days, and I only got it. You want to be in here too? You're so cute. So I only got about 3 centimeters dilated, I want to say. That was like the furthest that my body dilated. And by the time, the reason, other than that, that was the reason that I needed to have a C-section, but also because there was already meconium in the water, and so that's obviously dangerous for baby, as well as she had been in the birth canal already for a while, and I guess this is what my husband told me just a few days ago, that I do not remember anyone telling me at the hospital, but apparently she wasn't like in the best position. So like she wasn't in the right position, but like I don't know if there was like maybe in like her arm or her shoulder or something was going on that she needed to be in a better position to be able to give birth vaginally and without like the route with the least complications would have been a C-section at that point, basically. And obviously the safest option for her safety. So I said yes to that because of my baby's, well-being. I wanted to make sure that she was safe. But there was 2 things that happened during my labor that I am still really upset about. Of course, I'm a lot better. I've accepted the idea a lot better now. But when I first got home and after the surgery, that was not the case. So I did end up getting an epidural, which I was completely against as well. Because I wasn't dilating, they had to put me on Pitocin, and they upped the Pitocin pretty high. And I was only like 2 centimeters dilated after laboring for multiple hours. And I think it was only like 1 centimeter dilated. We tried like these little pills that they give you to put like in your mouth to let dissolve so that your cervix will soften. Also, they upped my Pitocin, and I was just not dilating. So the reason I had to get the epidural was that I wasn't dilating, and the contractions were so close together and so intense that I no longer had any more breaks in between to rest, and it was just to to get a break from the pain. And the pain was just so intense, and I just couldn't handle it. And my husband had actually, I honestly, if it wasn't for my husband, I hadn't labored as far as I had naturally, which I'm so thankful for, because he was massaging my back the entire time through every contraction. And that was literally what was getting me through labor. But because I was no longer getting any rest in between my contractions, it meant he was also no longer getting any rest between my contractions, and he was also exhausted. And the amount of pressure that he was literally he was putting all his strength into my back and into massaging my back, because that was the only way that I would barely feel the contractions. That's how helpful it was. That like it was so, the pain was so minimal compared to having a contraction without him massaging my back, that I really needed him to continue to do that. But of course he couldn't, because he was also really tired. And my mom also was there helping massage my back as well, but obviously they were also both tired, and it was just really intense. So we went ahead and went on to surgery. And I was really scared. I already was so upset that I had gotten the epidural. So then I'm like, if I thought, oh my gosh, my hormones have been insane. If I thought I was emotional or hormonal during my pregnancy, it's completely different once you've given birth. Like, I've been so emotional. Anyway, so this topic does make me emotional because, okay, I'm not even kidding when I say that I have tried every which way to record this video. Sometimes when I'm recording the audio, something messes up. When I'm recording, my baby wakes up. When I'm recording, the camera will die. And right now the SD card just said, I just got a notification that the SD card is full on the GoPro. So I'm recording this on my phone because I'm not going to put this off anymore. I'm literally just going to, this is going to be, I guess, the only edit that there's going to be, that I'm going to have to add this on to, that I'm going to have to add this on, you know, to the video. But anyway, so where was I? I was already really upset about having to get the epidural because I really wanted to have birth naturally and vaginally. So when they told me that I needed to have a C-section, I was completely like so heartbroken. I was so upset. I was just extremely heartbroken. From the moment that they told me that, then everything started going really fast. The nurses and the doctors started moving really fast, and they got me to surgery really quickly. But literally, I don't know what happened. I don't know if I was so exhausted, or if I was so kind of like scared and like in shock that I was gonna have to go into surgery, because I've never gotten surgery done before and I was so terrified to. But finally, whenever they were taking me to surgery, I was literally like in and out of consciousness. I don't know if it was the exhaustion. I don't know if I was like blacking out from like the medicine, the I don't know, the shock. I don't know what it was, the fear. I don't know, but I was just trying to stay as calm as possible. And during the surgery, they I actually remember like just again going in and out of consciousness, and I was trying to be awake because I was like, I really wanted to see my baby, but I was so tired. I felt like I just could not stay awake. I felt like I just couldn't keep my eyes open. My eyes felt so heavy. And so finally, baby's born. The doctor was really nice and sweet and like put her to the, they put up like this sheet, right? And like I could see her, and he like held her there for a good while. And I literally thought that they were just gonna put her up to the sheet and then just like take her away quickly. But he actually like let me see her for a good while, and I was trying so hard to stay awake for that. My husband was there with me, thankfully. He was like I'm so grateful for everything that he did for me during pregnancy, during labor, during like my recovery, everything. But anyway, after that, I don't really remember a lot. There's just things that are like a blur. I remember them giving me my baby. After surgery, they took me to like a room, And then once they took me to that room, they gave me my baby there, and then they told me like, oh, only mom could take her up to the postpartum floor. And so I was so tired, and I had been going so like in and out of consciousness that I was so afraid that I was gonna drop my baby. So literally, like, I just remember telling myself, like, do not drop the baby, do not drop the baby. Like, I was trying to stay awake so hard. And I actually feel so scared when I think about this now, but I do not remember getting to our room, to the postpartum room. I remember carrying my baby, and it sucks because that was the first time I was holding my baby, and I was so worried I couldn't even like enjoy it. Like, it was really hard. But anyway, we got to the room safely, thankfully. She was fine, I was fine. My husband tells me we slept a lot through it, and from then, started recovery. It's been a really long recovery. It's been really, really hard, but nothing was harder than those first 2 weeks, especially once I woke up and I knew that I couldn't walk. I couldn't get up. I couldn't get up to get my baby if she was crying. I couldn't change her diaper. I couldn't do hardly anything on my own, by myself, or for myself. And that finally is like what I've been wanting to talk about, is how much guilt, how much shame, how much disappointment, like true disappointment, I felt from having had a C-section. Like, I was so distraught, and from the fact that I had to have a C-section compared to being able to have a vaginal birth. And that is something that I've never heard anybody say. I've never heard anybody talk about. I've never heard anyone, like, I watch, even before I was pregnant, I have watched a lot of labor and delivery vlogs, a lot of videos on birth, a lot of videos on so many, so many videos on birth, pregnancy, everything, labor, delivery, all of that. And never have I heard anything to that extent. And granted, of course, I went into it with the mentality that I had no expectations, no reason to think that I would be having a C-section. I went into it completely confident, ready for a vaginal birth. I bought all the things for a vaginal birth, never gave it a second thought, never thought to myself, maybe I should prepare in case I have a C-section. Nothing. I never had thought that I would end up having a C-section. And that was, I think, what caused me the most disappointment, was the fact that I never expected it. I never expected it. I never thought that could, that could be me, that could happen, honestly. And yeah, I just felt so much disappointment. I felt like I hadn't given birth. I felt so heartbroken, so upset. All I wanted to do was cry. But because there was constantly people in our room and with us, and because now we had a baby, and I had to feed a baby, and I had to just do so many things, I, focused on my recovery and all of that. And I just felt like I couldn't deal with my feelings, and I felt like I couldn't express my feelings. I felt like I couldn't cry the entire time from, I'm not getting emotional. The entire time from the time that we were in the hospital, which was 4 days, up until we came home, I didn't have a moment to myself. And not only that, but I also, not only did I not have a moment to myself, but I also didn't feel like I could deal with my feelings until I finally got home. And I felt like I kept telling myself that, like, when we were there at the hospital, like during our stay there, I would just tell myself, like, you can't cry right now, you have to be strong, you can't think about it. Like, I wouldn't give myself a second to think about it, because I knew that I would just wanted to cry. And one day when I got home, it had been just maybe a couple of days since we'd been home, maybe the first week, but I broke down with my husband and I cried with him, and I just told him, like, I need to breathe. Like, I feel like from the hospital to the house, and I literally hadn't even been outside for fresh air in like maybe like a week, almost 2 weeks. I felt so just upset and just out of place. And it's like, it's such a hard transition, like such a hard transition to go from not having a baby to now having a baby. Like, even when I was pregnant, it was definitely a hard transition then too, but not nearly as much. Like, you cannot prepare. Like, there's no way for you to mentally prepare for having, like, physically, your baby physically being here, like, with you. And especially, like, when it came to my marriage too, like, I never knew what to expect. But that was also a huge transition, huge, and has been a huge transition. But especially in those first few days when I felt like I hadn't bonded that much with my baby yet, I felt like I just didn't know, like who I was, what I was doing. I felt like I didn't know who, like, my husband and I were anymore. Like, it was really strange. Like, I just felt like it just, it wasn't just us anymore. And that was kind of like a really hard thing to accept as well. Because even now, like, I feel like I don't see him. Like, I see him in the morning before he goes to work. I see him in the evening when he comes home. But then that's it, We get to spend, some time together, but most times when we're home, we're cleaning, or, we're cooking, or, we're eating, or we're trying to be with our baby. And don't get me wrong, it has been the most amazing time to be able to be together, the three of us, but it is really hard. And we'll just keep adjusting, and you just keep adjusting and keep working at it. And I'm still, I'm a lot better now when it comes to, like, accepting the fact that I had a C-section, but it still makes me sad. It still makes me, like, upset. Like, I still can't watch labor and delivery vlogs. That makes me really, really upset. Like, that makes me really emotional. Things like that. But man, like, yeah, I've never heard of anybody talk about that. And I was like, I want to talk about it. I was like, I want to be the one that, someone can watch my video and be like, I feel this. Like, and it just, I don't feel any shame in saying it. Like, I am very sad and heartbroken and disappointed in that that I had a C-section. And I think that, it's probably a normal feeling. And I think that, a lot of women probably do feel that way. And that's okay. It's just one of the things that I feel like you deal with and you just learn to live with and accept, like any other thing. But that was it. Literally, that was everything. This was not as messy as I feel like my previous attempts have been, but we're gonna get it. And this is the first episode of UnCut. Bye.